We'll see if this works. Go here and see. Is it official? Duke Dennis destroys the. No, don't do that. Hold on, gang. Alright, so we're gonna see. Oh, I fucked that up already. Dang. It's not receiving enough. I don't want that. Nah. It's not receiving enough. I'm just trying to figure this out right now. I don't want that. No. It's not receiving enough. I guess we'll see. It's working on this side. I just don't see it on this side working. I guess we'll see. It's working on this side. I guess we'll see. It's working on this side. I don't like how that's going so far. So let me see if I can. Alright, I'm gonna assume that this is working right now. And hold on. Let's see what that sounds like. This is working right now. Okay. And hold on. Let's see what that sounds like. This is working right now. Okay. And hold on. Let's see what that sounds like. This is working right now. Okay. Okay. So you should be working now. Oh, you're working. Testing 1 2. Hold on. Let me go over here real quick and see. So you should be working now. Oh, you're working. Testing 1 2. Hold on. Let me go over here real quick and see. Sorry about this process. Alright, you know what? If you can hear me, then I'm just gonna go. So, dang, I wish I had another camera so I can see, so I'm not at this angle. But hi, what's good, everyone? Sorry for the wait. This is my first time going live on YouTube, so I'm not really privy to all the little things that you got to do in order to get into this. But I figured I want to get comfortable doing this as well, because streaming is, just another pathway that we take to, spread our message and, find a way to, make this more entertaining. I know it's late right now, so some of y'all are probably not going to see this until sometime later. But real quick before we get into the video, because we're going to be talking about female nature, ideally what it's like to actually try to connect with someone that happens to be a woman, and the difference in the way that they think. And one of the things that I'm going to say, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but I want you to really think about this and get it into your head right now. There's a difference between what they say and what they do. Actions speak louder than words. You've heard that your entire life. You need to take that seriously when it comes to dating as well. What people say, it's not going to be the same thing that they do. But we're going to be doing a reaction video to, I think Freud is his name. Old philosopher from back in the days that did a lot of research on female nature, and not in a way that sort of demeans them, but just stating the facts. And the facts may be mind-blowing. We shall see. So let me get me out of the way, and then I'm gonna do what I can not pause and play and do all that. Like, only when something makes sense and needs a little bit more clarity will I do that. But definitely, if you guys have any questions or some part of the video that you would like more elaborated, or something that stuck out to you that you can apply to yourself, please be sure to leave that in the comment section below, or the chat, I suppose. She believes she's kind, but her unconscious craves dominance, and the man who trusts her smile never survives her shadow. Bar.
The truth is darker than you've ever imagined. A woman can betray everything: her values, her family, even her children. If she believes the man before her is powerful enough to own her chaos, that's not fantasy, that's biology, that's history. In ancient wars, when a tribe was conquered, the women didn't run. They adapted. They married their enemies and gave birth to their blood, not because they wanted to, but because survival isn't sentimental, and the feminine instinct isn't bound to morals, it's bound to power. She may call you toxic, but if you radiate dominance, if your silence is stronger than her chaos, she will submit, not out of love, but out of something deeper, something she doesn't understand. But you must? Freud wasn't trying to insult women. He was trying to decode them. He believed that beneath every choice, every emotion, every seduction, was a war raging between what a woman wants and what she's been trained to want. She doesn't fully understand why she's drawn to danger, why she pulls away when it feels too safe, why she destroys the man who offers her peace, but surrenders to the one who threatens her sanity. Freud.
So what I'm going to say in response to that, what a woman wants versus what she was trained to want. That is insight. So the point being is, whenever you run into a situation, let me make myself just a little bigger. Alright, and cool. Whenever you run into a situation where you are trying to court a woman and you feel like she's giving you all of these quote unquote shit tests, you need to recognize that they're not even privy to what a shit test is. So they're doing this just instinctively. So you're not even talking to the girl, you're talking to the primal instinct. So anytime that you get a shit test, that's not, don't take that as a red flag that she doesn't like you. Just take that as a sign that there's interest there, and now I need to give you the challenge in order to see if you get to the, basically what women do is when they like someone, they treat them almost like an athlete. Like, all right, there's someone that I want to run this race, and the fact that they want you to run the race is, that's where the attraction is. The fact that she's challenging you shows that she's attracted to you. So now all you have to do is acknowledge that to yourself, understand that this is attraction right now, and this comes with the courting phase. So, and especially what he said, they don't even know that they're doing it. If you tried to explain it to them, they would think in hindsight, oh, I didn't even realize I do that. Let's continue.
Id saw this not as confusion, but as structure. Her id, her primal core, seeks power, protection, pleasure.
I'm gonna get the YouTube premium, gang.
Pleasure. It doesn't care about morality. It doesn't care about your kindness. It only cares, can he dominate my chaos? Her superego, the voice of her culture, her parents, her wounds, judges that desire, shames it, tells her it's wrong. And in between those forces, her ego tries to survive. That's why she runs hot and cold. Why she wants you, then attacks you. Why she seems emotionally unstable, but always in control of your attention. Because deep in her unconscious, love is not peace, love is power. And if you don't understand this, you'll mistake her tests for affection, her silence for mystery, her confusion for innocence, and you'll miss the one truth she'll never say out loud. She doesn't want to feel safe. She wants to feel claimed.
I'm gonna turn me up real quick. She doesn't want to feel safe. She wants to feel claimed. Damn. Physically, women want to feel dominated. That doesn't mean that they are trying to play a quote-unquote submissive role. Because when people use the word submissive, they only, I mean, you know, when I was growing up, the word submission, you know, I grew up, you know, watching wrestling. So we thought putting people in submission was, you know, your way of beating them. So it's not about beating another human being. It's about the energy that you bring out to the world. Is it more powerful? Is it overwhelming her energy? And what that is do you value and love yourself more than she values you and loves herself? Because what'll happen is people tend to, I want to think about what I'm saying, especially women. Women tend to, in today's time, they tend to say that they want a kind, nice guy, gentleman, you know, someone that's chivalrous, blah, 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 right? But now it's changing, the pendulum swinging to, you know, nice guys finishing last, and, you know, that not really being something that you can utilize to date women specifically, right? So when you're having sex, a woman wants you to dominate her in sex, in the bedroom. So think about that for a moment. If she wants you to dominate her in the bedroom, you have to show her signs that you're someone that can dominate. So the way that you talk to her, can you dominate her in a conversation? Not overwhelm, not talk more than her, not talk louder than her, or talk with more emotion than her, but can you lead a conversation? Because if you can lead a conversation, then you can lead in general. You can lead in the bedroom, you can lead with finances, you could lead a relationship. So that's the first phase, is leading with a conversation. Anyway, I digress. I just wanted to say that real quick, because some of these things that they do, they're not even privy to it. But the fact that you know it's going to happen, or the fact that you're aware it's happening, that gives you the advantage over her, because she's not she's not conscious of the quirks that she does. She's not conscious of the little nuanced things about her character that you're picking up on. So you knowing that, and you being very attentive and paying attention to all of the signs that she's giving, that gives you the advantage, because you'll know how to shift accordingly. Bring that back down. So I'm gonna let it fly for a little bit. I just thought that it would be important to say that real quick.
Sigmund Freud didn't start as a rebel. He began as a doctor, trying to understand why people suffered. But the deeper he looked into the human mind, the more disturbing the answers became, especially when it came to women. He didn't trust appearances, not smiles, not manners, not even emotion. Because what fascinated Freud was the unconscious. The part of the mind that speaks without words, acts without reason, and wants without permission. And when he began to study female desire, not what women said they wanted, but what they were drawn to, he uncovered something that shattered the social fantasy. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't soft, it wasn't safe, it was raw, primitive. Rooted in survival and submission to power, Freud watched women abandon gentle men and obsess over those who triggered their shame, fear, or longing. He noticed their words didn't match their instincts. Their guilt didn't stop their patterns. He called it repression, a defense mechanism that hides what the mind can't accept. Women were repressing their own truth, and society was helping them do it. And when Freud tried to expose it, the world recoiled. He was mocked, censored, even hated, not because he was wrong, but because he was too right. Because no one, not even the woman herself, wants to admit what truly drives her. You think she's ignoring you, that her silence means disinterest. But Freud would tell you, this isn't about you. It's about her mind protecting itself from something it can't handle. Her silence is not absence. It's a carefully designed response from her unconscious mind.
Do you want to know where to invest $1,000 right now? Well, forget about AI, quantum computing,
a defense mechanism. When the ID inside her, her primal hunger for connection, wakes up, it terrifies the rest of her. Because deep inside, the little girl she once was still lives. And that girl learned one thing early: love leads to abandonment. Maybe she cried in a room where no one came. Maybe she reached for her father and found emotional vacancy. That experience didn't vanish. It sank into the unconscious. Now, as an adult, that pain disguises itself as control. It whispers, disappear before he gets too close. So when you message her, and she doesn't respond, yet still watches your stories, lingers in your shadow. Understand, you didn't lose her interest. You triggered her unresolved wounds. This is repression in action. Her mind buries the parts of herself that long for you because the superego warns closeness is danger. The ego...
I'm going to say something real quick to just piggyback off of what he's saying. This does not apply to every man. This does not apply to every man. Let me go all the way just so you can see me, because this is a warning sign. This, what he just said, does not apply to every man. This applies to the man that did everything in his power to be the best version of himself. So, if you worked on how charming you are, if you worked on your body, if you studied what the type of men she actually is attracted to looks like, and goes down a pathway of becoming exactly what she's attracted to, that's when you can apply what's being said right now to female nature in general. But if you aren't attractive to her, if you didn't do the necessary things to make her attracted to you, get your money up, make sure you have a fancy car, I don't know what other things that the girl that you may like is interested in, but if you didn't take the time to develop yourself and turn and become into the man that she would find attractive, this is not going to work out, and you're going to read these signs wrong. So when you see her watching your Instagram story, but she ghosted you maybe a couple of days earlier, that could be a sign of some sort of attraction, but it's not to the degree that you need in order for you to pull the trigger and to reach back out or something like that. This only applies to when you know for sure that she is on your sack. Can I say sack? Is sack like your bag? I don't know. Anyway, when y'all see this, let me know how I did, because I don't know if I'm trash or not yet.
Ego tries to mediate. Don't reply, don't feel, stay in control. She doesn't vanish to hurt you. She vanishes to protect the fragile system that keeps her functioning. You're not dealing with a woman. You're dealing with her history, with patterns older than your name in her phone, with the echo of nights she cried alone and told herself, never again. And here's the tragic paradox. The more authentic you become, the more dangerous you feel to her unconscious, because you bring warmth, and her nervous system was trained to expect cold. You offer presence, but her mind was sculpted by absence. Don't take her silence personally. Take it as a sign of how much she's still fighting herself. And remember, when a woman runs without reason, it's not always fear of you. It's fear of what you awaken. She looks at you like she wants you. Her smile lingers. Her body language draws you in. But just when you step closer, she pulls back. She hints, teases, retreats. And you're left confused, trapped between invitation and rejection. This is not immaturity. It's psychological warfare, and Freud saw it long before Tinder ever existed. He called it the conflict between the id and the superego. The id wants the thrill, connection, intimacy, dominance, surrender. It doesn't care about morality, tradition, or timing. But the superego judges every urge. It whispers shame. Be a good girl. Don't give in. And so the mind splits. This split becomes sexual manipulation, not always conscious, but always strategic. As a child, she learned that attention equals survival. If she could be desirable, she could be safe. But full surrender, that was never safe. That was punished. Now, in adulthood, she seduces without intention. The cleavage, the slow blink, the subtle touch, it activates your masculine chase reflex. She wants to be desired, but not possessed. She wants to be seen, but not claimed. This is what Freud called reaction formation, when someone expresses the opposite of what they truly feel to defend themselves. She may want closeness, but acts distant. She may feel sexual desire, but speaks of boundaries and purity. Because acknowledging the real feeling would shatter her illusion of control. You think she's hot and cold. But in truth, she's split between hunger and fear. Her
Helga, hey Arnold, right? You get the gist.
ego sits in the middle, desperately trying to manage the chaos. It tells her, flirt, but don't commit. Control the narrative, stay in power. And every time you lean in too much, her unconscious mind screams, run! You can't win this game by playing along. If you chase her body, she'll crucify your soul. But if you understand the script, if you see the performance without reacting to it, you become untouchable. Because a woman can manipulate the man who wants her. But she cannot control the man who knows himself. And that terrifies her more than love ever could. You think she's special because she's rare. Because she...
Try this odd 10-second trick to drop your blood sugar almost overnight. It's so simple, yet so effective that...
Got botched him with these ads. Hold on, let me bring it back a little bit.
Her ego sits in the middle, desperately trying to manage the chaos. It tells her, flirt, but don't commit. Control the narrative, stay in power. And every time you lean in too much, her unconscious mind screams, run! You can't win this game by playing along. If you chase her body, she'll crucify your soul. But if you understand the script, if you see the performance without reacting to it, you become untouchable. Because a woman can manipulate the man who wants her. But she cannot control the man who knows himself. And that terrifies her more than love ever could. You think she's special because she's rare, because she's different, because she doesn't need anyone. But what you're feeling isn't attraction. It's scarcity. Freud would tell you, this isn't about her. It's about what she represents to your unconscious mind, the missing piece of love you never received. When a woman goes cold, becomes distant, detached, your id panics. It screams, "Don't lose this. Fight. Prove your worth." But that urge is not coming from love. It's coming from lack. As a child, maybe your mother gave affection inconsistently. Maybe she was emotionally unpredictable, loving one moment, punishing the next. That trained your nervous system to chase approval. You learned that love is something to earn, not receive. So now, when a woman mirrors that same distance, your unconscious says, "This is familiar, this is home." And you fall for the trap, not because she's special, but because her behavior reactivates an old wound. She doesn't need to say anything. Her silence becomes a mirror, reflecting all the moments you felt invisible as a boy. And you don't just want her attention, you want to heal. But here's the poison. The more scarce she becomes, the more valuable she feels. Not because she's actually rare, but because your brain is wired to equate absence with worth. This is what Freud called displacement. You're not chasing her, you're chasing the emotional ghost of your past. You're not attracted to her, you're addicted to the feeling of trying to matter.
This is where you are not recalibrated and you start treating girls that are on a scale from 1 to 10 to 2 like they're an 8, 9, and 10. Because it's not necessarily that you find her attractive. It's just that she's the only one that's giving you any type of play. So it's like, it's like being in the desert and you drinking cactus water when you find a cactus. If you had all the water in the world that you needed, would you even try to cut down the cactus tree? So it's basically like that.
And she knows. Even if not consciously, she senses the power. The moment she withholds affection, your masculinity destabilizes. Your self-worth gets outsourced to her attention. But here's the harsh truth. No woman should have that power over your nervous system. Until you stop associating emotional starvation with love, you'll keep crawling back to women who feed you crumbs and make you believe it's a feast. You don't rise by earning her validation. You rise by recognizing the script and refusing to act in it.
Also, though, just as an add-on, what I think could be more powerful for you to use is not necessarily just ignoring it, but also acknowledging it. If you can acknowledge that there is a script to her, then that shows just how aware of the situation you are. Not necessarily that I'm going to back off because you're playing games right now, but even acknowledging the game. And what is an example of that? You like me. No, why? Because you're doing that thing that girls do when they like someone. You don't realize that you're doing it, but you've been doing it for the past however couple of minutes that we've been interacting with each other. Like, if you do that, ooh. Tonality is important too, but we'll get into that into another video. But yeah, definitely when you see the script happening, you have the option to play along. You have the option to walk away from the script, or you have the option to acknowledge that there is a movie and there's a script happening right now. You're being triggered right now because of the attraction that you have for me, and now you're thinking primally. You're being there's no reason to act defensively if there's no threat to your emotions, right?
Because true power begins the moment you stop chasing your childhood through the bodies of modern women. She tells you she's ready. She says, "You're the one." She talks about babies, future, marriage, and for a moment you feel chosen. But suddenly, something shifts. The dream collapses. She changes her mind, or worse, blames you for the very thing she promised. What just happened? Freud called this projection, the unconscious act of displacing inner conflict onto someone else. She wasn't lying to you. She was lying to herself. And you were just the stage she performed it on. In the beginning, her id was awakened, her instinctual desire to attach, to be desired, to imagine a future. But as that vision grew closer to reality, her superego, the inner critic, shaped by family, trauma, and fear, began to whisper, "You're not ready. He'll leave. This will end badly." That internal war created dissonance, and instead of facing it, she projected it onto you, Suddenly, you became the unstable one. You became the reason she couldn't trust love. You became the excuse her unconscious needed to escape. This isn't new. As children, when emotions were too overwhelming, our minds created narratives to protect us. Women who experienced emotional abandonment or pressure growing up often develop a deep fear of actual commitment, but they still crave the illusion of it, the fantasy, the safety, the identity of being wanted. So they borrow your stability to create their fantasy and then destroy it the moment reality arrives. It's reaction formation. She acts like she wants family, loyalty, forever, but unconsciously fears the vulnerability it demands. So she flips.
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month?
Sorry about these ads.
Well, I didn't make this kind of money selling yoga mats and...
Have you ever been in a position where you happen to be looking up at a girl and she's already looking at you, and for just a split second, y'all make eye contact and then she looks away? That's the internal conflict that she's having. It has nothing to do with you because, I mean, she don't even know you. You're a whole stranger to her. The only thing that you are is what she's attracted to, which is the opposite gender. But anytime that you see a girl do this and then try to look down or look away, what's happening is her actual feelings arose, and then the ego came and pushed them back down so that she doesn't feel like the vulnerable parts of herself are threatened by your presence. So anytime that you see that, don't take that like she's trying to ignore you or that she doesn't like you. She likes you a lot, and she's trying to repress those emotions of liking you because you're a stranger. And what's the worst case scenario? And girls always go to the worst case scenario in their head. The worst case scenario is that you're going to take those emotions that she have and you're going to take advantage of her. You're going to take her for granted. You're going to cheat on her. You're going to move forward to someone that triggers her insecurities. You're going to trigger her insecurities. It's a whole thing that she's not really willing to take the risk, even though she finds you attractive. I mean, I want a Lamborghini, but let's be honest. Are you a driver that's skilled enough to handle a car like that? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
Sabotages. Tells herself, I was wrong about him, when in truth she was never clear about herself. And here's where most men collapse. They internalize the guilt, try to fix what was never theirs to fix, beg to prove their worth inside someone else's inner war. But you cannot win a battle that lives inside her unconscious. You cannot save someone from the lies they need to believe. The wise man doesn't argue with her switch. He recognizes the script and exits the theater. Because a woman who projects her chaos onto you is not building a life. She's building a shield, and you are the casualty it's made from. She mocks you, dismisses your masculinity, calls you arrogant, cold, controlling. She says, I could never be with a man like you. And yet, she keeps showing up, keeps circling, keeps watching. This isn't confusion, it's reaction formation. Freud's term for when a person expresses the opposite of what they truly feel, because the truth is too dangerous to admit. What she hides is attraction. What she fears is submission. What she disguises as contempt is an aching, suffocating need for masculine dominance. Her words are a mask. But her biology doesn't lie. She critiques the very traits her id craves: strength, mystery, power. Why? Because she was never taught how to love what she desires, only how to fear it. Maybe she grew up under the weight of a weak father or the grip of an overbearing one. Maybe she learned that wanting a powerful man made her less than, or not feminist enough, or just another girl giving in. So her superego, that voice shaped by social judgment and internal shame, launches a defense. He's toxic. He's unsafe. He's probably a narcissist. It's easier to shame the desire than to surrender to it. So she attacks you with words, hoping they'll kill the part of herself that wants to be claimed. And every time you hold your frame, every time you refuse to bend to her emotional noise, she hates you more. But that hatred is laced with arousal, because your masculine stillness is the very gravity her chaos secretly longs for. This is where men fall into the trap. They start defending themselves, explaining, apologizing. They try to correct the image she projects, not realizing they've just submitted to it. But the man who understands projection never reacts to the insult. He listens to what her unconscious is really saying. Your presence makes me feel things I was trained to suppress. And the only response to that is silence, stillness, power. Because when a woman tries to fight you for the control she secretly wants you to take, you don't negotiate, you don't retreat, you don't chase, you just hold. And in that holding, her mask begins to crack. You thought you wanted her, but if you strip away the beauty, the curves, the chaos, what's left? A pattern, a familiar ache, a reenactment. Freud said the unconscious mind repeats what it never resolved, that we seek out the same pain, not because we enjoy suffering, but because suffering feels like home. And that's the illusion. You weren't chasing a woman. You were chasing the ghost of your unmet needs. The woman who ignores you, who pulls you close, then disappears, who mirrors your mother's absence or your father's coldness. She feels real because she activates the boy inside you, the one who still believes, if I can get her to love me, I'll finally be enough. But that was never her job, and the deeper betrayal isn't hers, it's yours. You betrayed yourself the moment you made her the solution to your inner void. And worst of all, you believed that if you suffered just right, if you played the role just well enough, you'd finally be chosen. But you weren't in love. You were hypnotized by emotional scarcity, by unhealed memory, by the secret hope that if you could fix her, you'd repair the boy. And that's why it keeps breaking you. Because no woman can mother the man who won't father himself. The illusion was never her attention. It was the belief that your worth depends on it.
Women do not want to build with a man. They want to have a man that's already built. Or at least have a man that already has all the tools that he needs to build his quote-unquote empire. If you are depending on her tools in order to build the empire, then you're automatically making her less attractive to you. That's why everything that's being said in this video so far, it has to only apply to someone whose trajectory is already in momentum, or you are already the ideal man that she would be attracted to. Whether you're tall or have tattoos or like is in great shape or, you know, converses very well, you know, has a deep thinking process as it pertains to the world and the universe and love and human experiences and connections, or you're just fun, you're just a fun going, you know, confident person. Whatever the things that she's attracted to genuinely, if you are those things, or you're working towards being most of those things, or you're working towards being those things in the future, and it's clear as day that you are going to become something greater, and she sees that, that's when these little shit tests, that's when these little triggers that she shows apply to you. But if you don't have those, don't roll the dice. There's a possibility that she just has options and she's not attracted to you like that. So the first thing I would do is I would work on myself. I would work on self-love and making sure that I'm becoming the best version of myself that I possibly can be. And we continue. I won't pause it. I won't pause it for like a while now because we're almost at the end anyway.
You don't fight the game by reacting. You end the game by leaving the arena. The woman who tests, withholds, seduces, and withdraws, she's not your opponent. She's a mirror. And your only job is to stop flinching when you see your reflection. Freud taught that real power doesn't come from repression, but from sublimation. Taking your chaotic instincts, the hunger, the need, the ache, and redirecting them into something higher. So you feel the urge to chase her? Pause. Hold that fire, and aim it at your becoming. Because the man she cannot manipulate is not the one who wins her, it's the one who doesn't need to. While she's posting stories to provoke you, you're building muscle, physical, mental, spiritual. While she's measuring her worth in attention, you're sharpening your purpose in solitude. Let your silence become surgical.
Turkey hair transplant trip? Canceled. Red light therapy worked better, and I didn't need my passport. I tried all that
When I'm editing this, I'm taking all of these ads out, because ain't no way, boy.
Let your indifference carry the weight of a man who remembers who he is. Your ego is no longer negotiating between your ED's cravings and her superego's games. It stands grounded in reality, not hers, not society's, but yours. Because emotional sovereignty means this: you feel everything, but obey nothing that doesn't serve your path. You no longer seek women who test your value. You attract women who recognize it because it's carved into your presence. And if they don't, you stay unmoved, not because you're cold, but because your warmth is earned, not extracted. The feminine isn't healed by being worshipped. She's healed by witnessing a man who will not fold. Not for beauty, not for guilt, not for loneliness. And that man is born the moment you choose yourself. Over her attention, over her confusion, over the comfort of being chosen by someone who hasn't chosen themselves. You don't need her to understand. You don't need closure. You don't need a conversation, a text, or an apology, because silence is its own answer, and clarity is its own revenge. Let her play her games. Let her confuse herself with freedom. Let her run from the fire she secretly prayed for. You are not here to be understood by chaos. You are here to transcend it. Every man must one day walk away, not with anger, not with pain, but with a strange, sacred stillness. The kind that only comes when you stop chasing ghosts. She was never yours. She was a reflection of your forgotten wound. And now you no longer bleed for mirrors. You don't punish her. You don't fix her. You don't wait for her to grow. You disappear. With dignity, with depth. Because the greatest threat to a woman who manipulates is not a man who resists her. It's a man who no longer reacts at all. And that is where her power ends, and yours begins.
That was a very insightful video, and it's true. And for the females that are watching this, you know it's true. Even if you think that you are the anomaly. And what's going to happen is more than likely whenever you interact with women, you're going to feel like they're more than likely the anomaly, and you're going to end up being more drawn to them because of that. That does not mean that every female is the same. What you need to do is you need to recognize the pattern when it happens, and understand that that pattern is in most women, most females. And most females aren't even, they're not even conscious of the pattern that they do. But know when it happens that more than likely it's happening, especially when you've gotten your ish together, is because she's attracted to you and she doesn't want to be. You know what I mean? So don't take that and get discouraged if it happens to you. Don't feel like, you know, you're less than what you really are, your value. Don't feel like you're ugly. Don't feel like you're not attractive. Just take it for what it is. Okay, I am attracted to this woman. That's the reason why she's doing this, but she's making it hard because she's afraid that I'm going to take advantage of her emotions. And the very minute that you do that, you have options. Now you have all the control in the world. You have the option to react, which I don't think that's wise, in a negative manner. You have the option to walk away, which is what Freud is talking about. Or you have the third option, and that's the option that I like the most, which is acknowledging the BS. You almost want to treat it like you're being like a kid. It's like, all right, that's childish what you're doing right now. We're not in high school. We're not in junior high. We're not in college. We're grown adults. Well, I don't know. For the people that are in high school or in college that are watching this, you still want to treat it like that. We're not in daycare. We don't have cooties no more. You like me. We like each other. We're supposed to like each other. You know that, right? As human beings, I'm not made up of photosynthesis. I'm made up of a man and a woman that came together to create me. I'm the byproduct of two individuals being intimate with each other, and that's the plan for all of us as human beings moving forward to keep our species alive. So we're supposed to like each other. So you making it hard, that already in itself is not natural. So anytime that you see a girl that's trying to not connect when instinctively we're supposed to connect, know that we're supposed to connect. Anyway, that was my first stream, y'all. I feel like I was ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I could say ass. I meant donkey. Whatever. Anyway, but if you have any thoughts on the video or what I'm saying, then please be sure to comment down in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe if you want more insightful videos. I post all the time, literally every day. There's a new short that I try to post, but I'm gonna try to do more of these live streams as well, so that we can really dissect what a lot of these people are saying, because they say it in a way that it comes across intellectual, but I feel like sometimes it can get lost in translation. And if we paraphrase and we take the hard and make it simple, then you can apply it to your life right away. So that's kind of how I look at it. Anyway, y'all, have a good night, and I'll see you